Welcome to the Open Service Mesh Community Meeting for November 9th, 2021. We have just a few items to look at today, starting with a quick look at the roadmap and milestone. Roadmap-wise, and we'll have links in the notes, but roadmap-wise, we're on track for coming up to V1.0.0. And the milestone right now for V1.0.0 is 94% complete. So expect to see updates on that in the coming month. We have Alan here from the team who is going to talk a bit about OSM perf testing integrations. Alan, you have the floor.
Hi, thanks, Bridget. So we recently have done a thorough performance and scalability benchmark for OSM. We used the service mesh benchmarking tool developed by Kinvolk to do the test. In a short summary, it has a load generator that sends request at a rate we can specify to a list of services in OSM. So we mainly measured the CPU and the memory usage from the both control plane and data plane, also request latency under different traffic load, and also the scale that mesh with one controller and one injector can handle. So right now we have the data in our hand now, and we are working on a more formal report and documentation. You should be looking forward to see it on the website. But the early result I can share is with OSM controller part, which has a 2.5 gigabytes of memory and 4 cores of CPU. It can support 900 services in our test with 1 pod per service. So, and the typical request latency is on par with the industry standard. This gives us more confidence that OSM is ready to be used in production environment.
Okay,
Going back to you. Yeah.
That's great. I have a question. When you say a specific number per pod, does that mean, like, what does that mean in terms of people, or per node? What does that mean in terms of people scaling? Like, if people don't necessarily know how many services they would need to run, can you clarify, like, what kind of use case would OSM be suitable for right now?
So in our test, I will assume that if you have a cluster with 100 pod in the whole service mesh, it should be ready to be executed with just one pod in the control plane per component. But since we can also scale our control plane, if you really need to run on a larger scale, with that enabled, you can handle a larger mesh.
I see. Well, this is good. I mean, this is the kind of scaling that people are going to want to do for real life use. So yes, that is good to know. All right. Thank you, Alan. One other thing that I wanted to highlight today, and we'll have a link in the notes about this, is we have some docs that are coming in about feature lifecycle, feature versioning, that sort of thing. And I'll just share this particular screen item. Just a minute. Yeah, I'm just gonna share this so you can see. Notice that this is in the main branch. It is not one of the released versions yet, but it will be on the site available at the next release. This specifically talks about the feature versioning, the various states of features, and this, along with what Alan was saying about the path to production, this will help people see exactly what the production readiness of OSM is. So this feature lifecycle info is coming. And then I'll switch back to the agenda and just say, we also had a question from a community member. And for this one, I don't think that they are on the call. So I will just say that we'll definitely be adding to the issue at hand. I know that the stateful sets is going to land on the roadmap in short order. And then we also have a particular community member, Mudit, you've joined today. Do you have anything that you want to add to the discussion?
Yes, I have a few query regarding the documentation of governance. So that was my query regarding this thing for the maintainership and all. So how do we decide on that hierarchy, like how one become a maintainer in OSM? So I want to need I have want some clarity on that. Like in Kubernetes, there are some of the key terms like some of the PRs, number of PRs are there for becoming a member and all. So in OSM, are we planning to do the same or anything else?
Yeah, I know that there's some community and contributing. The contributor ladder specifically has some information. I'll drop a link in the chat and I'll also put it in the notes. I'm not sure if you've already looked at that, but that is a good place to start. So we've documented what it takes to become, a community participant, contributor, and maintainer. And then also approver for pull request. Yeah, is that what you were looking for, or do you have something else specific that you're interested in?
Yes, I was looking for the same. So, okay. Yes, regarding the same, I was looking. And one more thing about
Mhm,
the release cycle of OSM.
mhm.
So currently, like I was under the impression like it is 2 months, but I have seen like some of the releases come out in within 20 days, within 1 month interval. So is there any documentation for the release cycle also?
I'm going to
Like
look to Alan to see if he has any specific insight about whether there's a pattern that we're trying to stick to for the release cycle. What do you think, Alan?
We do have a release guide. I need to check that whether we have fixed duration that we release each version. But in my experience, it's around 2 months, but it's not fixed. Once we feel that we finish all the features tested, we may release it a little bit earlier than planned.
Okay, so actually, I was looking at the Slack channel, so I have dropped a few queries regarding the same, and the Shashank told me like they follow milestone based approach. So every release cycle has some milestone, and the due date is mentioned in that. But in some of the milestone, due date is not mentioned, so it is very difficult to keep a track of when a new version is released. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that we're solving the problem that you're trying to solve, which is the question that you're looking to have a more consistent plan for when you do upgrades, or are
Yes,
you
yes,
trying to
yes.
plan rollouts? Like, I'm just curious, what are you looking to solve? Yeah.
Yeah. Like a regular update kind of cycle, like around 2 months or 1 month. It is not documented right now. So we are currently working like if we have such some number of bugs and we fix it, then we release a new version of minor fix version of OSM. So if it is a regular like around 2 month we release new version, then it will be very fruitful for us to keep a track. Like every 2 months there will be
Yeah.
changes. Yeah.
And from your
That
point of
that
view, would you prefer for more frequent than every 2 months or less frequent, or is that about the right cadence for you?
like 2 month cycle is good. Like 2 month we can address more issues and all fixes we can do. 2 months is fine. But this the last version was released, I think the previous version was early, like the release cycle was around 20 days only, and before that it was around 3 months, so I was very really confused.
Yeah, I think as Alan pointed out, and I know Shashank has said that they are definitely um, burning down specific set of issues for a release instead of making it specifically calendar based. Would you say there's specific problems it poses for you if a release comes out sooner than you expect? Like, do you have some sort of auto upgrade happening or?
Yeah, like for the POC in my company, if I am using this thing, so I have to give them a particular timeline. Like, yeah, every 2 months, new upgrade will be happening. So it will be very difficult for me to manage those things for the
Okay.
POC. Then, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, that's excellent feedback. Thank you very much for that. And again, because this is still a pre 1.0 software at this very moment, there's obviously a lot being figured out. So we'll bring this feedback back. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, nothing else. I'm looking forward to work with the OSM, contribute more and more today.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah. I hope that contributor ladder helps, and we would love to see you go on that path to maintainership. I mean, that's fantastic if you'd like to.
Yes. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks.
Okay, great. And if we don't, do we have anything else before we close it out today? All right. Our next meeting will be December 14th. And I think maybe we'll have fewer conflicts between different team members that day. So hopefully more of us will also be able to be present. But thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.